The Chamber Orchestra of New York fills a unique space in cultural organizations, but like many, it's been on hold for live performances for the past year or so, but that is about to change. And with me to explain more about this is the music director and composer, Salvatore Di Vittorio, and also the president of the Chamber Board, Steve Avery. So great to have you both with us today.
Thank you, Jenny.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
So Salvatore, let's start with you. I mean, if you can explain the upcoming season, because we're going to get back to seeing live music again very soon. I'm very excited about that. So tell us what's in store.
Well, we're sort of wrapping up the current, I guess, compromised season and with some spring productions finally, in-person spring productions. We've been busy with a number of things throughout the early part of the year and before that, especially wrapping up recordings and readjusting the season. And we've had our education program, a virtual program created in lieu of what was missing last year. But we have our spring productions coming up on May 12th to 14th with an outdoor festival on the 15th, and hopefully some others along the way the same month, next month. And what we're doing is, thanks in part to a DCLA grant that we've just received, we are doing 3 performances which will be broadcast shortly after the each day. So they're broadcast performances. They'll be part of our YouTube channel for posterity, which is great. And we're doing some great works. We're doing Holst's St. Paul Suite. We're doing the very famous Copland Appalachian Spring for 13 players, the chamber version. And we're doing Wagner's Siegfried Idyll, and then we're doing a handful of other pieces around that, and also on the festival dates. And then we're already projecting the season. We were kind of done a soft launch, I guess, on our website of the new season 21-22. Our Carnegie Hall dates are all set up, and we have our next recording. The season actually begins in October with yet another recording for Naxos Records. We have 2 that just came out this year, and here they are. One, and then the second, which also involves my own music. And we'll be doing yet another recording for Naxos in October, which includes Respighi's 3 lyrics, which was one of the 3 songs was also done on another recording that I did with the London Philharmonic that just came out in April as well. And we'll be doing that in October. And then we have, November begins our Carnegie Hall performances, and we'll be at Adelphi and maybe a few other venues. But we're very excited to kind of come back to normal times and actually perform. I should add, though, the spring performances are open to the public. We are not selling tickets. It's free admission. They will be at Domena Senators Carey Hall on May 12th, 13th, and 14th. They're short performances, 1 or 2 works each, and we're basically opening it up through our own newsletters and social media communication to fans of the orchestra. They can come and it's limited seating. We probably won't be able to fit more than 50 to 100 per night, but it's a way for us to start working together again live and have the musicians interact again. And we're very excited about that.
Oh, so I can imagine how excited you must be to get back to normal again. How has it been over the past year? I mean, how did you survive? How did everybody kind of keep in contact and keep their skills up to date?
Yeah, well, musicians all have varying portfolios and work experiences that they engage with throughout the season. Some teach full-time, some play full-time, some do 50-50. It's really quite diverse. So I would say that those who had academic positions probably fared the best. I know some struggled because of such devastation with performances, live performances, whatnot. Those who did more recordings, I think, as we had, were involved with those, and those were permissible because in some ways, I mean, such as the orchestras in Europe, so that allowed some of them to be a bit more active than others, but it's really all over the place, and it's been very difficult, I think, for everyone. I mean, I as a composer, since so much of my work is composition, I've had really a fortunate year because I was able to publish more and be involved more with that communication and preparing projects and just getting things ahead. But I've been very fortunate, and keeping me also busy with the orchestra administratively, as it's doubling as its executive director has kept me quite busy. But I know it's been just devastating on most, if not everyone,
Well, and I think we have gained a new appreciation for live music and how great it can be through all this. So now, Steve, I mentioned earlier in the intro that the Chamber fills a unique kind of gap in the cultural landscape. So can you explain a little bit about the mission statement of the Chamber?
Sure. Let me go ahead and read that right now. The Chamber Orchestra of New York is the city's premier young professionals orchestra. Founded to advance the careers of extraordinary artists, the orchestra presents works that bridge the classical and modern traditions. Internationally recognized for its championing of the Italian repertoire, the orchestra aims to cultivate a wider audience for the future of classical music. What I'd like to do is kind of give just a broad overview of these key issues and kind of how certain aspects of the board and organization as a whole has addressed these issues. The competition for openings at major orchestras very intense, and usually there's very few opportunities to do so. So we provide a platform for them to continue to refine their skills and the greater visibility for performance opportunities. Another area that we cover in our mission is we feel that a large percentage of the overall population don't really have an opportunity to experience classical music. So we try to cultivate an environment where everyone feels welcome to have this experience. The other issue is a lot of schools have cut budgets, and therefore a lot of the activities, particularly like music education, has been eliminated. So we think that all the children should have an opportunity to do so. So what we've done with these part of our mission is provide these opportunities for the musicians themselves. In exchange of these great performances, the audience has the opportunity to experience the premium performances from these exceptional musical artists. The prices are reasonable, and they're able to support young up-and-coming performers.
Yeah.
One of the things that's kind of interesting associated with our organization is a lot of people said they've never really experienced classical music before. And that included a couple of our board members who never had that experience. They heard about the mission, they felt comfortable with it, and dove in both feet. And then they had their first experience with a classical performance, and they loved it. And they've brought a lot of their friends to come have that shared experience too. So they're out there kind of spreading the word about the organization as a whole. With the music education program, that was a pilot program that we rolled out a few years ago at a Title I school in Queens. And it was well received. It's still kind of in the development phase. Obviously, there's been constraints because of the virus issue. But we are in the development phase and in contact about rolling that out to other schools within the next few years.
Yeah.
One of the things I can't emphasize enough about our organization that we've done over the last few years is just a few years ago, we were a very small board and had limited backgrounds. And so everyone was wearing a lot of different hats, and we were stretched pretty thin. We grew that board probably about 3 times than what it was, a lot more skills in the background. And These people are very passionate about the board, or about the organization as a whole. And they've done a lot of heavy lifting. They really helped us out. They bring a lot of passion. And one of the things that was very important to me is hearing from them their concern about the musicians, tying into what Salvatore's talking about, the musicians' experience. And they were concerned about the musicians, asking, what can we do? And I think that just reflects the overall compassion they have for this organization. And the longer you've been with the organization, the more passion you have for it. And if you really have the opportunity to experience it, you'll understand why we think this organization is worth our best efforts in moving it forward, helping out the musicians.
Steve, you gave an excellent platform into the video that I would like to show next. So, which talks to the musicians and explains a little bit about the education and all that. So let's take a look at that now.
It's an incredible experience because of the conductor, because of the musicians.
Unlike a very large orchestra where the musicians are relatively quiet, it's a little bit more involved.
Everybody sort of has their voice heard. From the beginning, it was just a group of a lot of friends. It's a really nice atmosphere. It's just a really good vibe.
This ensemble really means a lot to me. What Maestro Di Vittorio is doing with his musicianship and commitment to Italian music is something really unique in this musical environment.
Salvatore picks a unique slice of the orchestral repertoire that I don't get to play anyplace else.
And our outreach is great for affecting the brains of those young people as they develop. Music makes connections in the brain that no other art can do.
Our ability to focus and champion very specific repertoire with musicians of this caliber puts us in a very special position to contribute in our own way to the history of classical music. That kind of excitement never ends.
Okay, well, that was beautiful. And it just really shows you what the Chamber is bringing to New York and globally now, really, with the YouTube channel and the website. I mean, you're sharing this with the rest of the world. So, Salvatore, explain a little bit about any permanent changes that might be coming to the Chamber or even to live performances in general. Will we ever be back to where we were in 2019, do you think?
Oh, I think we will. I think we all know that in the business, it's just a matter of time. I think the only thing that is sort of a concern right now in speaking to our contacts at Carnegie Hall and the Mena and other places, other venues, is that the first few months may be a little bit different or a little bit compromised, perhaps. It all depends on what happens between now and the end of summer. But we anticipate that we may have perhaps a somewhat compromised limited audience at Carnegie concerts, at the first Carnegie concert, and the same may happen on stage for the musicians. I may need to slightly revise the programming or at least the instrumentation. And luckily, given I'm a composer, I've been able to do that when needed. So it will not be entirely difficult, but I may need to make some adjustments along the way for let's say our first concerts in October or November. And we're hoping that that would be it. And then as the season continues, we'll be back to normal on both fronts. But it is the only thing that I foresee as a concern at this point.
Yeah.
But after that, we should be fine, I think.
Steve, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I just think everyone's just very excited. People keep asking when they're going to have the next performances. And Salvatore and I have been working feverishly trying to find maybe alternative venues because we feel so strongly about this organization and we want to give the musical artists as much opportunity as possible. So we've been rooting around, and we have these things that are starting to stack up, and if not now within the next few months, then we definitely are on their radar. And I think there's going to be something developing with those folks we contacted within the next few years, if not this year.
If I may add to what Steve says, it is difficult connecting. We have a wonderful brand, but that's besides the point. Most standard, festivals and performance venues that usually host in the summer are generally closed or very compromised, and there's a backlog, list of ensembles that are just waiting to perform, who regularly perform at these different venues. So everything is completely backed up. It's everything from musical performances to furniture.
True. And I've even heard, college, this competition is hard this year because so many people took off last year. And so, It's going to take some time for us to kind of get through this. But I know personally, a lot of my friends want to come, and I might have to spread them out so we can make sure we meet those social distancing regulations. But I'm very excited to come and see a live performance when things get going again.
Well, if we have to spread them out, then that's a good problem to have in our opinion. We'll try to accompany or address that as best as we can.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Looking forward to this, and hopefully we can talk again maybe in the fall and get an update on how things are going as hopefully things reopen even more.
That'd be great.
Thank you, Jane, very much.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah.